Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my humble casa, my humble home in Livingston, Montana. Okay, before I get started here, let me get the frog out of my throat. Whenever I do a lot of talking, I always got to lubricate my throat for some reason. I don't know. I've got a really deep baritone voice, and that don't help much. Okay, this ridiculous, because I consider this a very ridiculous video that I'm about ready to do, but lately my attention has been brought to that series on Netflix, which I don't watch very much of, called Tiger King. Now, look, I don't know if you folks are into that series. I think there's 7 parts to it. It's called Tiger King. And to me, it's nothing but one great big drama fest. You've got 4 or 5 major players in this crazy thing called Tiger King. You've got 3 different people that own 3 different big cat. They're either zoos or sanctuaries or refuges or whatever you want to call it. I've only watched the first season just to know that I'm looking at a bunch of BS. BS. And that's putting it real lightly. I mean, what's up with this Joe Bionic guy with a mullet and a 6-gun? I'll bet you that guy can't hit the broadside of a barn if he was in the barn. This fool, man. And then that lady that has that other sanctuary, supposedly, now this is the word, I'm not saying one way or the other because I don't know, but one of her first husband disappeared or come up missing or something, and they figure that she fed her husband to these cats, these tigers, these lions, all these big cats that she was taking care of. Anyway, there's another guy involved. He's over in Florida. I think the lady, and I can't remember what her name is. You guys are just going to have to watch this stupid show. She's got a relatively simple name. Not too bad looking old hand either, but, I don't know. Some of these people that get on these power trips with these great big dangerous animals, I think they got a screw loose here. But that Joe Bionic, he's in prison. I don't know what he did, but I think his tiger sanctuary or zoo or whatever have you was in Oklahoma, and same with this lady. And this one guy that wants to stay out of it that's running a pretty successful big cat business, he's in Florida. Anyway, this Tiger King to me is just nothing but one great big drama fest. I don't see nothing good coming out of this. If these idiot sticks want to do anything about those tigers, why don't they just let them the hell go? Turn them loose. Take them back to Africa and cut them loose, But the problem of it is you take a wild animal like that and you domesticate them, you know what ends up happening? They lose their ability to hunt. Now you're talking to a guy here that's been an outdoorsman for 50 some odd years. I know this for a fact. There is no way that you would get me to try to even remotely capture say a wolf, a mountain lion, a bobcat, or any of this kind of stuff and make a pet out of it or whatever have you. This is, there is a big separation, or should be, between certain animals and mankind. Certain animals and mankind don't get along well, just like mankind and grizzly bears. I know this for an absolute fact. So all these fools on this Tiger King show or whatever the hell they're trying to do, they need to get their heads out of the rear ends and turn these animals loose. That's the best thing they can do. Okay, to make this a little bit interesting, I'm going to try to get through this as fast as I can. I've got a story to tell from my childhood. And I'm trying to remember if this happened. Yeah, this happened before I went into service. Just before I went into the service. The brother and I got a brother. You guys heard me tell a few stories about my brother that's 2 years younger than me. We were living in Polson, Montana at the time. We decided we're going to backpack up to a place called, we went up past a set of lakes called Mud Lakes, and we was actually headed to a place called Cedar Lake, and this is right in the Rocky Mountains. Okay, up at the top of right at the top of the Rocky Mountains, right on the main ridge line, there was a Forest Service cabin up there, what they call a line cabin. Can anybody tell me what a line cabin is? A line cabin is where Forest Service workers, you generally, rangers and stuff, they'll travel along at these high elevations and they take snow measurements. Well, naturally, they need a place to, they take snow depth, and check snow for contamination and acid rain and all that. Well, usually along the trail, so to speak, they have these line cabins built, and they're usually pretty nice wooden cabins. And anyway, we're headed up this place called Cedar Lake, and up at the top is this line cabin. And I told Nick, it took 3.5, 4 hours to hump up to get up there. And I told, it was getting towards evening, and I told Nick, I said, well, we're going to pull up here. We're going to stay at this cabin. The government, these USFS is government stuff, but they had a big sign on the door saying that anybody could use the cabin as long as they replenish the firewood. And if you had any extra grub on you, make sure you left it in the cabin for other people to enjoy and use and all this kind of stuff. Got the picture here? Okay, when Nick and I first get up there, one of the first things we do is we go in the cabin, we're checking around, making sure everything's okay. But it was in the spring of the year, and I know there was a little bit of snow still around. It was kind of muddy, and we seen a whole bunch of big cat prints. And in this case, no doubt about it, had nothing to do with tigers or leopards or any of this stuff. This was mountain lion prints, mountain lion tracks. We've seen them all around this cabin. And we knew what the deal was. This mountain lion was trying to figure out a way to get in that cabin. But, it was, locked up pretty tight. It had a padlock on the door, but it wasn't locked, And the windows had great big bug screens on. There was no way that cat could get through there or any of that stuff. So I told old Nick, I said, don't worry about it. Those tracks didn't excite me too doggone much because it was getting on to supper time and I was getting more of a thrill about eating supper than I was worried about a mountain lion, So outside about, 15 yards away or 20 yards away from the cabin, there was a really nice fireplace. Okay, so we built us a great big nice fire, to have a little fire to enjoy for the evening and everything. And if I remember right, man, I opened up me a can of Hormel chili or something, because I'm not a very good cook. I opened up a can of something, whatever, here. So I'm sitting there by the fire, stirring and doing, burning beans, And when we had backpacked up there, I packed along a rifle. I never went up in the Rocky Mountains. I still don't go up into these mountains without armament. And for you people that don't like it, well, I don't care. You just don't know what I know. Anyway, I had this trusty old 30-30 Winchester Model 94. And if you don't know what a Winchester Model 94 lever action rifle is, I can't help you. Anyway, I had that 30-30 leaning up against the cabin because I'm over there cooking. I ain't worried about that piece of iron over there. because I'm wanting to eat, like that. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there, trying to get this meal cooked, and we heard the loudest, shrillest, most high-pitched scream that you could possibly imagine. I mean, this was worse than any woman with I'm not being sexist here or anything like that. Any woman that with the highest octave voice that was being, let's just say, raped or murdered. I mean, this was a really high-pitched scream. There's no other way to describe it. And almost instantaneously, Nick and I stopped. We looked at each other, and we instantaneously read each other's mind. And there's only one thing on the face of the planet that can make a scream that loud, and that is a mountain lion. Okay, now this kind of ties in with the tiger people. These people that think they're kings. These tiger king idiots that don't know jack and nothing. Anyway, old Nick looks at me and goes, "What are we going to do there, Jim, I said, "I'll tell you what you're going to do there, Nick." I said, "See that piece of iron over there by the cabin?" I said, "Go give me that." I said, "Go give me that 30-30. So, man, he went trucking over there and grabbed that 30-30 and, brought it to me real quick, because I'm sitting there still stirring my beans or doing whatever, And this cat had let off another scream or two, And I estimated that mountain lion was probably only about 40 yards from us, but it was off in the brush and whatnot have you. And in no way, shape, or form did I try to kill this cat or anything like that. I just took this old 30-30 and held it pretty much straight up in the air, well, kind of on an angle, kind of in the direction of the cat, but not right into the brush, because you never know. You could have been another human being backpacking or whatever have you. But I remember all together, I jacked 3 rounds through that 30-30. Boom! Jacked another round. Boom! Jacked another round. Boom! I got three times I shot. And all of a sudden, things got real quiet. I mean, real quiet. And me and my brother sat there for 5 minutes and didn't say a word to each other. We just sat there, listened, and that's the way it remained for the rest of the night. Now, but what's the moral of this story? See, that cat, it was wanting part of my dinner, or it was wanting to make me dinner, or whatever have you, but I wasn't having any of it. And here's the thing. All that happened was 3 bullets got expended. Nobody died. Nobody got hurt. The cat lived. We lived. And the cat had its freedom and all that. Unlike these people, these Tiger King people that got these cats all caged. And I don't care what their excuses are, because that's the biggest BS show that's come down the pipes. Netflix, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's what I've got to say. Okay, that's my Lion King story for whatever it's worth, Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for putting up with me, and that's the end of this. And take care of yourselves, and we shall see you on down the trail. And adios, my friends. Let me find the stop button here. I never get this right.